Hey everyone, and welcome to Serve the Animals. My name is Tanja Andersen, and today we have a beautiful woman that I have no clue she was in my life, and there she was, amazing lady with her name Tracy Murphy. Welcome, my friend.
Hi, Tanja. Thank you so much for inviting me to be interviewed by you. I think you are an amazing person.
Oh,
I think what you're doing to spread compassion throughout the world for animals is just wonderful. And I feel so honored that you selected to interview me. So I'm just very grateful. Thank you.
you are most welcome. You're most welcome. So, who is this amazing lady that you are looking at next to me? She is the president. Do I say that correctly? President of the Asia Farm Sanctuary. Did I hit it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I'm the jack of all trades at the sanctuary.
Oh, the word I'm so nerdy about saying the word correctly, quite like to the point. So Trace and I would talk about cows, the emotional nature of a cow, as we will dig into. Tracy had just opened her new visitor center. As you can see in her background, she's in her visitor center that she just opened for a few days. And one of the things that I really believe and feel and think about Tracy is she is a hero, one of the biggest one for the cows, for the animals, because she have faced some interesting things in her past to come to where she is now. And it takes a special person, it takes a person to have the belief, to have the guts, to have the bravery, and really be a big stand for herself, for the cows, the animals, her belief, her mission, and the life to create what she have created today. And it's just incredible work that she have created for the cows, as for the human that is coming there to experience cows, and will experience the connection as the healing that a cow brings to a human being without word, just being there in the connection with a cow. So thank you so much, my friends, sharing a little bit about who you are and your amazing work, and we will take it from there.
Tanja, to be able to share about who I am, I really need to bring you back to a story and something that aches in my heart until today. As a child, my father would raise dogs with us, and we had a dog, a former police dog that was surrendered to us. His name was Fritz. And we would dress him up. We would put sweatshirts on him and shorts on him. And he was he was just so good with us, and he just loved us. And we hung out with him all the time, and he was our best friend. And unfortunately, my father had to go away and work out of state. And it was hard on my mother. My mother had so much that she had on her plate, a business to run, 4 kids to raise, and she didn't feel that she could care for Fritz anymore. He just loved us, and we hung out with him all the time, and he was our best. And I was only 9 years old, and I I said to my mother, well, let's see what we can do. Let's try to take care of him. And she says, no, he's going to the shelter. And I said, please don't send him to the shelter. Don't send him there, because we love him. And I cried my eyes out, and I cried my eyes out, and nothing mattered. He went to the shelter. I was devastated. A child, someone I developed this close bond with, this dog. He was my family. He meant everything to me. And around 2 weeks later, Fritz was back. He came running back. I jumped for joy. I was so happy. we reunited. This dog that was at a shelter that was adopted by someone, who knows who, actually found his way back to my home. How many miles away was he? Because he loved us, because he wanted to see us again. That was Fritz's emotions. Even though I was upset, he was upset too. My mother, I said to my mother, surely we can keep him now, Mom, right? And she said, no, he's going back. He went back. And to this day, my heart aches for that dog and the torment that he went through. And if you want to know who Tracy Murphy is, then you just think about this story of Fritz, who at the time of when I was a child, I felt helpless and I couldn't do anything, to now as an adult that I can help animals, just like Fritz.
Thank you so much for your story, my love. It was a beautiful one, and it's also one of the kind of stories that really are the power, the strength, the foundation for you to be who you are, and for you to create what you have created today. And it is beautiful that you're turning around to be a blessing and to see the beauty in it, for you to come to this moment that you are in this moment right now.
Sometimes we have to come to these moments through pain, much pain in our lives. And this is why I had, founded Asha, but it wasn't just Fritz. It was a story about a dog that I adopted later on in my life after I, partied and went out with my friends and had a good time and lived this whole life that was just so meaningless and selfish. And I finally adopted a dog because I just felt so empty inside and I wanted life to come into my life. And I adopted her. She was a little Rhodesian Ridgeback baby, and I named her Asha. And I named her Asha because it means hope and it means life. And she helped me to accept myself. She was a lot like me. She could be stubborn. She could be focused in one way of thinking, and that was it. And she hated the cold. And I'm out in the cold all the time now. Hated the cold, and she never wanted to get her feet wet. And she was just so much like me. She helped me to accept myself. I loved her. And through that relationship with Asha, I was able to really understand the emotional nature of these animals, of all animals everywhere. Well, I thought she was going to live forever. I really did. I thought I couldn't help Fritz, but nothing's ever going to happen to Asha. Nothing will ever happen to her under my watch. And she was diagnosed with cancer, a really aggressive cancer. And there was nothing I could do. I thought, well, I'm going to go to the ends of the world for her, the ends of the earth for her, and do everything I possibly can to keep her on this earth. But no matter what I did, she was going. She was going. And I remember when the vet came to my door that day. And I remember saying goodbye to her and looking at her in her face and saying how much I loved her. And all she wanted to do was make me feel better. She kept licking my face, make me feel better because she was strong. Asha was like me. Like, I guess I was weak with her, but I am a strong person. But Asha was just very strong. And she died in my arms. And, I realized at that point, life isn't forever. It's not forever. It's very, very short. And I said, that's it. I had a calling that was on my life for so long to start a sanctuary. And 6 months later, I sold my home and I founded the sanctuary with nothing here, absolutely nothing. And I named it after Asha, my beautiful, beautiful dog who's still with me to this day. Her spirit is always with me, guiding and leading me. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be
I
sorry.
cry. And the only way I can express why I'm here, why Asha was founded was through these tragic stories. But there is hope.
There is hope. I really have a huge belief that, and thank you for sharing, Trace, my love. I have a huge belief that there is a meaning with everything, no matter how painful it is and overwhelmed, confused, no matter how we feel about it, there is always, always a meaning with it. There's always a bigger purpose with it. And it's really coming down to, do we choose to see it, or do we choose to be and live in the pain? And I really believe that God brings every moment in our life for a higher purpose. I really believe He have a plan with every relationship, every moment, every experience that we have experienced in life, for us to be who we are today and be where we are today, no matter how painful it has been in the past. I have a huge belief that He knows that this is what He gets to put, so that He can shape us and create what He made us to create.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And taking you to another story that confirms that is when I started Asha, there was just no money coming in. I had no idea how much it was going to be to run a sanctuary, to build buildings, to put up fencing. And I remember trying to raise money for a chicken house, and I just couldn't even do that. And I was on the phone with my mother, and I said, Mom, it's so hard. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to pay for all these things. It's just really hard. And she said, Tracy, have you asked God to help you? And I've been a Christian since I've been like, I don't know, over 25 years. And my mother just had recently, at 82 years old, become a Christian. And I just didn't know what to say to her. I was blank because she was right. I had not asked God to help me. And so she said, Tracy, very lovingly, Tracy, you must ask God to help you, and He will help you. Well, Tanja, after that, I just started praying. My mother passed away 2 days later, and those words were left with me. And soon we started getting the funding that we needed to build fencing and to get that chicken house finally finished.
Oh, the dear moms. no matter what we have experienced with them, they are a miracle in our life.
You know, she helped me to lean on God. And what happened is we started getting these donations where we were able to start building a large barn. And this is going to bring you into the story of how I rescued my first cow. And so I was working a full-time job, and I was commuting back and forth to the sanctuary an hour a day. And I decided I was just going to go investigate an auction house. I wanted to see how the animals were being treated firsthand. I saw many videos, but I wanted to see it with my own eyes. And when I went into that auction house, Tanja,
Oh my God.
I saw animals frightened out of their minds. I saw animals being treated, were suffocating in boxes, toppled one on top of the other. I went over to a pen and I saw this little baby calf. He was falling down, and he would get up and he would fall down, and this cold wind was just blowing in. This was a cold October day. It was blowing in, and he was crying and mooing. And then I looked down and I saw his little umbilical cord hanging from him. And I said, "You're coming with me." So it was all day. It was all day, all day. And they finally released him to me. By then he was unconscious. And I called up the vet, and when I got back to Asha's, and I said, "Can you please help us?" She said, she came out, she said, "He's not going to survive. The infection went to his brain, and that's probably why they wanted to get rid of him, and he was in an auction house," which is not true. But she said, I'm gonna euthanize him for you. You did everything you could." And I looked at her and I said, no, I did not go to the ends of the earth to help this baby calf for you to euthanize him. And so she said, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "I don't know." She left. And there I saw I named him Albert. Saw little Albert lying down, unconscious, and I fell to my knees. And this is a true story. I don't make this stuff up.
I
I
believe
fell to
you.
my knees and I said, "Albert, Albert, Albert, I love you." I said, one day people from all over the world are going to come meet you, and they're all going to know about you, baby, and you're going to do this. You can do this." And I asked God in my heart of hearts for a miracle if it was within his will. And didn't that little baby's head go up? And he came out of his unconsciousness. And this boy today is going to be 11 years old, and he's living at Asha's Farm Sanctuary.
Is that the cow that is on your picture you sent me, the brown cow?
Um, is that him? I don't know. Is that Lou Bear? Oh, no, that's Cheyenne. That's Cheyenne. That was Cheyenne. That should have been a Velvet. Albert's in all the pictures. He's in all the photos. Everybody loves him. He's got so much personality. He thinks of me as his mom because there were no other cows at the sanctuary. So he will nuzzle his head in my
Oh my
chest.
God.
He will put his head down and he will close his eyes, and tears will just run from his eyes. And he says, "Just love me, Mom. Just love me, Mom." And it just goes to show the emotional natures of these animals, because he knows that I truly saved him. And Albert's a love. Everybody comes here from all over just to meet him. He's very gentle and very sweet. And we just love him very much. We're just grateful to have him.
Oh. So tell us a little bit about now when we really get into the cows, because cow cows have a huge wisdom within themselves for us to connect with something bigger within ourselves, like the emotional nature of a cow. Can you please touch base around that? What is that about, and how can a cow bring that in the connection with it?
So the emotional nature of a cow and
Yeah.
how we can connect to that
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, there's this little boy that came on one of our school trips, and he he had some difficulty feeling comfortable around people.
Mm.
He didn't feel comfortable, and he was very shy. And I started telling about the story about Albert and what they did to him and how they threw him out in a ring and how this poor baby was laughed at as he was falling down. And that little boy develop this connection with Albert, just developed a connection, a strong connection. Like he's thinking, I thought I was the only one that felt like that. I thought I was the only one that felt like, nobody cared, or I felt like alone, or I felt afraid. I didn't realize that animals feel like that too. Cows feel like that too. So this little boy would just go up and hug Albert and just hug Albert. And you could just see this beautiful personality in him that was just hiding for so long, just coming out. And so, yeah, being around these cows and animals are, helping us to recognize our hurts, helping us to recognize that we can overcome hurts, and really getting to our compassionate core, where we want to that we see that they're no different than us and that we want to help them.
Oh, so beautiful. Why do you believe that a connection with a cow is important for a woman's health, for a woman to really be healthy? I'm curious to know your point of view on that.
For a woman to be healthy, I think as women, I don't want to say every woman, but I'll say for me, I'm going to be open and honest and transparent in
Of
this.
course.
Okay, is that I feel that I had tried to get my self-esteem from relationships.
Yeah, me too.
And that if only, if I had this relationship with this guy and it worked out, then I'm going to feel good about myself. I'm going to feel like I, have purpose. And what happens is it falls short, because there's no one that can ever make you happy. There's no one that there's no one.
Mm-hmm.
And or can build your self-esteem. And so when I started the sanctuary, I stopped, dating completely. It was my decision to do that. And I developed all these relationships with these animals that I saw as pure and innocent. And it helped build my self-esteem, because I also knew that I was doing God's work, because I was taking care of the animals or the living beings that are thought about the least in this world. So that it's God's work, because God wants you to care for them. So I just learned that your self-esteem, your individuality, or who you are as a woman doesn't come from any man. It comes from God. It comes from God, and God reveals that to us through his animals. And I hope I answered your question.
You did. You did, my friend.
You didn't
So
think about this stuff that I never really thought about. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what happened.
it's because when you share about the story around Asha, was really get connected with why I get emotional was as you know, like before I knew this information as I know now, that I bought a parrot in an animal store. I'm against that now. I did not know that at that point. I get a bird into my life on a time where it was very difficult for me to be in because I just lost my dad to suicide, very close to that. And oh, girl, when you said I'm so close, I'm so connected to my emotions now. When I saw the bird, my dad and me was always talk about like this amazing big bird of animals and the power it have and the what it stands for. Like really like I see as a bird that what we can learn from a bird is really like being free and choose what is important for us because they can fly where they choose to fly. So the picture of that they choose to fly is a picture of, do we own that in us? Do we own to be free to take our wings out and fly where we choose to fly? And that bird is called Silk on English. She come into my life a point where I freaking hate myself. I did not know it on that point. I hate myself. I was in so much deep, beep, beep, beep. I was not happy at zero. I was addicted to pain. I was addicted to suffering on so many levels that I have no clue I was to up to a couple of years afterwards where I did healing work. So this bird come into my life on a time where I was so disconnected to myself. This bird learned me how to love. This bird learned me to be patient. This bird learned me to be quiet in the moment without thinking and just look at it for 1.5 hours and more. Just be in the moment. And that point was so challenging for me to be with my thoughts or to be in my body because it was a mess to be in silence with myself. And she learned me that. And animals is as a powerful tool for us to really regain and restore the most honest foundation and the most beautiful foundation that lies in us. I really have a huge belief that creating a connection with an animal and definitely create a connection with an animal that has been through suffering is mirror into ourselves where it learns us to be in silence and be in it what it is we get to be in that moment with the animals because we see ourselves in that animals. We see ourselves, our suffering in that animals. Without talk about it, without act on it, it is just a moment of forgiveness, a moment of releasing in that moment because we truly been seen by animals without us sharing about whatever we have inside us. That's why I was asking about cows and women health, that I have a huge belief that we can never really call we are healthy without the connection with the animals. Or with the animals that's on a sanctuary or with the animals that needs a human so that the animals can live a healthy and worthy life wherever that animals is. I'm not talking about animal stores. I'm against animal stores. I talk about animals that has in crisis because of our lifestyle is damaged their home.
And animals, it's we see ourselves and we see the hurt and we see the pain and we see how these animals can heal us. But do we know that animals feel that same way and they can be healed as well?
Exactly.
And one of the examples, I want to take you back to a story of Moses. And Moses was a baby calf. He was only 2 days old. He was torn away from his mother. He was at a dairy farm. And this baby was chained to a pole in a cold and barren barn. There was no straw for him. He was on cold concrete. and he was just crying his eyes out. The saddest thing that you ever would see in your life.
Oh my God.
And they were going to sell him to anyone, any stranger, anyone that probably would have taken him to their backyard and slit his throat. This boy never deserved this. He never deserved to be taken away from his mother. And going back to the story of Fritz, we already know that animals have these feelings. We already know.
Yeah.
They love, they have connections. They want to be
Compassion.
with their
Yeah.
families. Right. So this baby was just helpless, and I was able to convince the farmers to surrender him to me. I brought him back to Asha's Farm Sanctuary. Now, anyone would think, oh, great, he's going to a sanctuary. He's going to be so happy. He's going to be great. It's a wonderful sanctuary. We put him in the barn, gave him all the straw. Everything's wonderful. Well, this baby just cried his eyes out. He continued to cry his eyes out. And it was as if he was saying, Tanja, it was as if he was saying, I don't know you people. I
Oh my
don't know
God.
you. I don't know you. All I know is I was with my mother. And I just want to be with my mother. This is very basic. This is not complicated. And so at that point, and me into to sanctuary, the sanctuary, still new into the sanctuary world, still new into the emotional nature of cows,
Oh my God.
saw our brown Swiss mother cow walk up, heard his cries, walk up to the barn, and she took this baby under her wing. And they were inseparable till today. Today, they're inseparable. Tearing them apart would just be horrible and awful for them. So that not only healed Moses, but it healed Cindy too, because that was her name, Cindy, because she was a former dairy cow. And she was at a farm, and good people that had that farm, they ended up going vegan. They closed the farm. They surrendered Cindy to us.
Wow.
But she had babies. She was impregnated, forcibly impregnated. That's the only way a cow will give milk. And the babe, they don't get to keep the babies. The
Oh,
babies are
real.
one after the other, one
Yeah.
after the other. So her heart was just broken. Even though she was at our sanctuary, we didn't even realize the underlying hurt inside her heart. So she healed from Moses too.
That is the beautiful incarnation that's soul together with another soul heal each other. That's why we heal in community with other humans, as with animals, as with nature. We get to be in community as connections to heal.
Yeah, and these stories just keep going on and on, Tanja. We have families. These animals are just, they're bonded. And people get to witness this when they come to the sanctuary and they visit the animals. Some of the things too about the cows is that they have this wonderful emotional nature, but do we realize how intelligent they can be as well?
Oh my gosh.
I've witnessed it and I have pointed it out. And our cows actually know tool use. And how many times have we learned that, okay, we learned that chimpanzees use tools. That makes them intelligent. And so, okay, all right, well, did you know cows can use tools too? And I'll give you a perfect example is Theodore. He has one horn, and he came like that. It got caught at the other sanctuary that it was at. He got it caught, so he has one horn. So anyway, we were at the times we had pigs, and we had them penned up to eat so no one could steal their food. So the cat, Theodore, walks up and he looks over this 4-foot fence and he looks down He's like, that looks pretty good what they're eating. I really like that. So he took his horn and he lifted up the latch with his horn. I am not kidding you. Pushed the gate open. All the cows were behind him, and they're like,
Oh no,
yeah, and we're going in. And
we are with you.
they all went in. They all went in, and the pigs went screaming out. They're okay, don't worry about it. But that's one example of tool use. Another example that I witnessed is flies. They love cows. They just
Oh my
are
God.
cows. Oh my gosh. And so Moses, sweet Moses, I told you about before, thought this hay, if I grab this hay and I swat back, I can reach that nasty fly that's on my butt. And, and so there's another example of tool use in these cows. Use. So highly intelligent. I think they got a bum rap. I think that there's not enough studies on them. There need to be definitely more studies on their intelligent. They're highly, highly intelligent. They're
True.
not just out there chewing on grass.
Oh no.
They're very emotional, intelligent, cuddly, and wonderful, and they're just up there with the best animals in the world.
So interesting. Is that not something about like a cow can remember the name? So when you call on a specific cow, that cow turn around, not all cow, just that specific cow, just like, oh, she's calling on me. Because I've seen that before. It's just like, wow, like of course dogs also do that. And when I saw that for the first time, it's just like, why not? Like a cow have a brain that is misunderstood by many people how smart it is exactly and what is exactly feel of a connection with another cow and with a being.
Um, Again, I think I have a story for everything with
Love
because
it.
I've been with these cows for over a decade now. And so when we first had our first Kiss a Cow Day.
Oh my God. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, sign me up. Like, oh,
Oh, you gotta come out and
oh
so
girl.
I would love it. Oh,
I have said that to you. I'm the crazy girl, like, kiss me.
oh. They would love you. They would just love you. So we had our first Kiss a Cow Day, and oh, was this our Kiss a Cow Day or our Fall Fest? Well, let's say it was Kiss a Cow Day. And we were bringing Albert a cake. Okay. And we were celebrating his birthday. I think maybe it might have been a Cow Fest event, but we were celebrating his birthday. And everybody's like, there's crowds and crowds and crowds of people. And this is when Albert was not special needs and he was way, way, way back in the pastures, way back. And we had all these crowds up front, and here I am with a cake. And they're like, how are you going to get him up here? How are you going to get him up here? And I said, I'm going to call. And I said, Albert. And didn't that cow, he's ready to steer, but we call him cows, lift up his head, heard his name, then smelled the cake, came running through the pasture. And he came and he ate that cake right up with his sheep friends. But yeah, he knew his name. And we have many other cows at the sanctuary that know their names. Yeah, just
Oh
like a
my
dog.
God.
They're like one big happy dog. They know their names.
Oh my God. So true. So true. So I'm curious about this, like promote compassion choices. Like, what is your take up for that? Like for the people that are seeing this interview, like what is your take up for that?
Uh, Promoting compassionate choices,
Yeah,
what they
yeah,
um,
exactly.
the number one way, the only way that we can help these animals is by moving towards a compassionate vegan lifestyle. And we encourage that at Asha's Farm Sanctuary. We encourage it with love, understanding. We're never judgmental. We encourage it by having people meet the animals and seeing that meeting the cows and seeing they're no different than a big old dog, and getting them to feel compassion for them. And then we tell them the rescue stories, and then we show them this food. We have them sample the food, we have them try the food, we have them purchase the food if it's an event, and see that it's really very delicious. A meal that's made with no animal products. They can learn how to make this food too, and they can learn, or if they don't want to make it, they can learn where they can purchase it. Fast food places have vegan products now. Restaurants have vegan products. Grocery stores have tons of vegan products. I mean, they're all over the place. So there's really
no excuse in this moment in 2025.
Right. We're not on a desert island, it's just no excuse.
Of course.
But we encourage people. We don't, I wasn't a vegan all my life. I
not
didn't
me
become a
either.
vegan until like I was, I don't know, 20 years ago, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was mindlessly eating all this stuff. I was not realizing that I was contributing to the suffering of these animals, and suffering is the confinement of these animals, the mutilation of these animals, the, taking their babies away and having them cry and be upset, tearing families apart. I mean, having them frightened in a line. They never should have to ever feel that, but I didn't realize all that. And when I started realizing it and becoming awakened to it, that's when that decision wasn't overnight. I had to really, really research it, and I really had to pray and ask God for help. And God told me when I prayed and asked him what I should do, because everybody thinks that they're here for us to eat. This is God's gift. No.
Yeah, many don't.
God's gift is love. How do you connect water with love? You don't. And so I said, what do I do, God? What do I do? And he said, my dear daughter, if it's not of mercy, it's not of me. And that's when I went vegan. So what I just want to do now is just be able to help people where they're at, educate people, encourage a compassionate lifestyle. And then, my hope is that they will make these compassionate choices for these innocent cows.
So beautiful. That is one of the things that I really appreciate and love by you, is really that you're meeting people where they are. And I really believe that having that skill, because that is a skill, like meet people where they are, like you are where you are, there's nothing wrong, all right? You are where you are, and you have the right to be there. That is your choice. And this is my choice. That is a powerful skill I really, really love about you, that you meet people where they are with no judgment about their lifestyle, and you invite them to look on different way, or taking the conversation with grace and with light, with compassion and love for the person, because we are where we are and we choose what we choose because of a reason. For me, that I shifted to be vegan in 2018 as a member, and I know like what happened behind closed door, because I have an animal, I'm a zookeeper or animal keeper in my education for back in the days. When I chose to take that education, I was behind backstage and know what is happening. And in a slaughterhouse, it's going so fast. The guy is never all the time hitting correctly on the cow's head. And sometimes he do not hit, and the cow is in like all like what you call like know what is happening. There's not a word for it. They know what it happened. I was in a slaughterhouse because I was going backstage because I was curious about the cow sounds. And I saw this cow come in this like pin to get the shot in the head. And he missed that, and I could see the cow was going down in the back, and that cow was knowing what was happening. It was a little bit fade, but the cow know what happened because my education know like the seconds and the moving, what is happening afterwards of the like nervous system and all that fun stuff that's happening in the body. And I saw that cow get slaughtered with a knife in knowing what is happening. When I saw that, in my whole being, like I was just like, I will never do that again. Like from that day, I chose to go end all meats. It was maybe it's not so healthy because my body was screaming, shouting because it was used to get all that like dead animal, eat dead animals. And why it shifted was I saw myself in the cow's place because I was in suffering behind this beautiful face that I was so good to fake it to make it. No one knew what I was going through behind the face. When door was closing, the the demons was coming out of the closets. So I saw myself in the cows and the smells, the sounds. I was just like I was in a horror movie with myself because I saw myself in the cow's place. So that's why I chose to be vegan afterwards. I saw the like I didn't ever stand for my value. I did not stand for what I share. Was because I wasn't suffering. So I choose to do suffering on myself to keep where I was because I was not willing to let go of my suffering. So it is so beautiful that you meet people where they are because we have no clue why a person choose what the person choose. Because I choose to eat dead animals because I wasn't suffering. That was a way for me to do harm on myself. It was not because I want to do it. It was for me to keep me stuck in that pain. So thank you so much. I'm really honored when I meet people like you and others that really meet people where they are because we have no clue where the person is. And the other person may not know either why the person do as the person do.
Thank you for sharing that, Tanja.
You're most welcome, my friend. Beautiful interview with amazing connection. So, Tracy, what is the one thing that you would like the audience to go with? What is one takeout that you really want them to go with?
To just think outside of ourselves and be open and listen to, that spiritual tug at your heart of what's right and what's wrong, and follow that. Don't be afraid to follow it. Don't be afraid to follow it. And because that's what happened to me. Don't be afraid to follow it. If it's on your mind and on your heart, even the very little bit, okay, this is God. This is God. And He is steering you into compassion and mercy and everything that He's made up of. So I would just leave everybody with that concerning these beautiful animals.
That's true. So true. So to you, dear members that's here with us live, Elle and Ellen, if you have some questions for Tracy, you have the opportunity to ask her the question you have on your hearts. So you will get unmute, or you're welcome to tap that in the chat so that she can see it. So you're welcome to get unmute or ask the questions below. And I will share some links. There's also The links is in the chat. So Tracy, where can people get connected with you?
They can go to our website, Asha's, plural, Asha's Farm Sanctuary.org. They can connect with us on Facebook. It's the same handle, Asha's Farm Sanctuary, Instagram, TikTok. We're out there. They can come visit us.
Yeah, and you can get connected with Tracy on LinkedIn by her name, as you see on the screen. As I can see here, the link to LinkedIn is connected with her personally. So what is the last word you would like to share with the audience, Tracy, before we end this interview?
Just my last word is to you, Tanja, and that is you are such a beautiful, inspirational person. And I am so thankful that we had this opportunity to do this interview together. And I just feel really blessed right now. And I would follow Tanja in other awesome interviews. She's wonderful. And I keep going. You're doing such a wonderful, wonderful work. Such a beautiful person you are.
Oh, whew, I get emotional. Oh, thank you so much, Tracy. You have no clue how much that means for me to receive. And as I shared before, is to you guys, you never know who is in your network. I did not know that I have this amazing person in my network on Facebook. I have no clue she was there. To the day I was looking at who am I friends with on Facebook, because I was like, I get to clean up in my friends. And I saw this beautiful being as a human being that have this most beautiful heart and compassion for the animals, and the way she show up, the way she carrying herself in her posts, in videos, and not just the work she's doing. So it was a blessing to see if that a beautiful being as you, Tracy, was friends on me on Facebook. And I was like, that girl, that woman, I get to get connected with, to learn more about, and to support. So thank you so much for being in my life, and thank you for this connection. And I look so much forward to kiss a cow, and you can stand next to me and laughing. It's like, oh yes, Tanja, that is you. Get the biggest like slushy of the cow. Oh, so fun. There is a questions in the comment. Do you intend to expand the know of cows of your sanctuary? Did I say that correctly? The question is in the chat. If you can see the chat, Tracy.
No, I can't see it.
So do you ENTEND intend, I believe it's the intent to expand the number of cows of your sanctuary. It's like I was missing a word there.
So thank you so much for your wonderful question. And I know we all want to just save these babies. They need so much help. Uh, to be able to do something like that is financial support and donations are huge. We right now have a very small barn, and we need a much larger barn for these animals. We have special needs animals. We have cows that are getting older in the back pastures that eventually have to come up to the front, and we're going to need a larger space. So yeah, we would love to be able to rescue, but right now, to be honest, we're just don't have the capacity, and we don't have the finances to be able to do it. My hope is that we continue on and we keep believing and praying, and that if it's meant to be, that God will give us what we need to be able to help more animals and help more cows. But I hear you. They need help. They really need a lot of help. But let's go vegan. That's the #1 way to help these animals. Let's go vegan. We can save thousands and thousands of animals every year, you know, if we just go vegan. And you know, just pray for us, and if it's meant to be, we're here. We'll rescue him if it's meant to be.
I love them, and thank you for your question. So to you, dear audience, go and follow Tracy and her amazing organization, Asia Farm Sanctuary. I was like, oh, I hope so much I hit the name correctly. I'm so nerdy about names. And on their website, you can also donate to the amazing work as also get connected with them. So we really invite you to go follow them, to get the newest updates, to share the message, to spread the word, spread the compassion, and really experience a new way to look at foods, to take day by day to invite more plant food in so that you one day are 100% vegan and you can experience life on a totally new level. Because when you choose to go that way, it is just so interesting. Something I've experienced with myself. The eyes is open for so much food that I never thought there was in the store. And they have always been in the store. My eyes were just closed to choose what I normally choose, not see what is out there. That is the vegan lifestyle can give to you in life. And where you do one thing is where you do everything. So when you go vegan lifestyle and go vegan, you will expand that to other areas in your life, your friendship, how you look at yourself, and how you meet people by choosing to a vegan lifestyle. So Tracy, thank you so much, my dear. Thank you for this amazing interview, for the work you're doing, for you to be in my life, for your words. Has been a big honor, a bigger blessing that you have no clue how big impact you have done in my life in this interview.
I love you, Tanja. Thank you so much.
I love you too. Oh my God. Oh, all the emotion. Oh, so dear audience, we invite you to go follow them, and thank you so much for bottom of our hearts for you to be here, for your time, for your love, and your support you are giving to the Asia Farm Sanctuary. So have a beautiful, beautiful day and big blessing to you all. See you all soon again.